We're at Don Paco's right here on Florida Street in downtown Buchanan, and I have with me Francesca, who is the daughter of Mr. Figueroa.
Yes.
And you just have all kinds of wonderful things, Mexican, with a Mexican accent to it. Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about your menu and what you have to offer.
We have a lot to offer on our menu. We have cheesesteaks, fajitas. We even have vegetarian. We also offer a kids menu for those children or even some adults who aren't into the spicy foods and stuff. We pride ourselves in our food and how wonderful it tastes and everything. Our cooks are very
they're very good, and you are prompt with serving, and you do some special things, because I even got to be a part of your birthday celebration. So
Yes.
that's another thing. If you want to do a birthday, you can come to Don Paco's right here
Absolutely.
on Florida Street in downtown Buchanan. They're going to be sponsoring the Fireman's Parade as well as the Antique Car Parade. So we just want to thank you for your service to the community and for helping Channel 3 do some festival events for folks who can't get out.
absolutely.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, all the happy viewers of Channel 3. Welcome to the 75th Annual Strawberry Festival, West Virginia Strawberry Festival. We're going to watch the Antique Car Parade today, and my name is Dennis Cordes, and I'll be your host. One reason I'm not behind the camera, but I'm in front of the camera, is because I'm a retired mechanic. I have had a racing company out of Detroit when I lived there, so I pretty much know what I'm looking at with these cars. And the first ones will be coming down the road here in just a few minutes. The name of my company in Detroit was Red Lightning Racing Enterprises Incorporated. I had two partners. We built cars for customers for drag strip, and we had our own company, Hot Rod, too. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, we had a 70 Cuda, 440 Magnum, 850 cubic inch, 850 CFM carburetor, dual feed, dual pump, a Hemi converter, B&M torque flight, and a 512 posi gear. And I think the first car is coming around the corner now. I'm going to step out of the way, folks. This is the Model T of Mike Ross Incorporated. Then there's Mike himself in the rumble seat, throwing popcorn. Next we have a Model T. It's a 1925 Ford Model T. Bill Ramsey from Brewston Mills, West Virginia, owner. And here's a nice looking little hot rod, a 1930 Ford truck. That's very customized. You text, you drive, you die, and that's pretty much true too. This one's got a coffin on the back of the red pickup. Next we have a blue 31 Ford, and then I'm not sure, I think this is a Ford also. Nice looking car. That one's got a rumble, the red one's got a rumble seat. Here comes the hot rod. 1936 Plymouth, and that's not stock, obviously. And there's a work in progress. I think it'll look good when it's done.
That's an old truck.
Here's a green Ford, 53 Ford pickup, and a Willys Jeep. Now, Jeep has a unique history. Willys Motor Car Company, back during World War II, started the Jeep. And then it was sold to American Motors when Willys went under. And then it was sold to Chrysler, who owns it to this day. The Willys Jeep, or the old Jeep anyway. What do we got coming here? It's a GMC flatbed towing what looks like to be a horse trailer.
That's like a green.
That's got a bunch of kids in the horse trailer. They're all waving. Hi, guys. And right behind it is, I think it's a 60 Pontiac Fire Chief. And then here comes a kit car with a Volkswagen driveline in it. Really? 64 Mustang, kind of purple. I think it's a 64. And here's another unique Mercury. The back window goes up and down like the side windows do. Maybe we get a shot of the back window. Yeah, see that back window? Well, you saw it. Here's an old 67 Chevy Pickup. My goodness, an old Rambler, an AMC Rambler, American Motors Corporation, a 1964. There you go. That'll work. He's going to be restoring that pretty soon, I'm sure. And a nice old Buick, followed by a 64, I think it's a 64, it's a Corvair. They had the engine in the back as a Corvair Spider. There's a 64, 65, no, maybe 66 Mustang, 289 cubic inch engine, followed by early Volkswagen Beetle, and a blue Ford pickup, a 67 Ford pickup, and it's followed by a 60, no, I don't know what year that is. It's a Ford Bronco anyway. And here's a Pontiac Gto. And they were quite popular back in their day, and they were a good muscle car. They had 455 horsepower, 455 HO. And here's a Camaro, 69 Camaro. And they all look nice. And a Chevelle SS, Chevy Chevelle SS with a 396 cubic inch engine in it. And the red one is another SS, a Chevelle. This was cowl injection, you can see by the hood. And a Nova, a green Nova. They were quite popular cars on the drag strip too. They handled the quarter mile very nicely. Here comes a big black Buick. They were more luxury cars. Road, what do you call them, land yachts. The Buick, sometimes they had a model called a Roadmaster. I don't think this one is. It's a limited, I know that much. And a Ford F-150, no, I'm sorry, F-100 custom pickup. A blue Chevy Chevelle. And here comes a Chevy Camaro. The Camino is a half pickup, half car. And the kids next to me are enjoying these bigger trucks. They call them monster trucks. They just like to rev them up. Need tall boy here, F-150. Another F-150. Here comes a Ford. I'm not sure what body style it is. There's a Mustang. Later Mustang. There comes a nice little car with retractable headlights. They flip back, and here's a black Oldsmobile, I think it is. I think it's a 442, no, SS. Monte Carlo SS. Chevy, my mistake. And here's a custom hot rod. Sounds nice and quiet. Of course, me being from the drag racing community, I'm used to the high-pitched, the loud cars.
Josh, look at that last one. Whoa.
We got something coming down here. I'm not even sure what it is. Looks like a front-wheel drive dune buggy. In front of that is a black Chevy pickup truck.
Whoa!
The engine's definitely in the front. And it's four-wheel steer. It's four-wheel steering. Look at that thing crab down the street. And a modern Chevy Camaro. We're going to be running out of cars pretty soon. The antique tractors will be following along. I'm going to stay with you until the tractors come. Hard to talk over this noise, you know, sometimes. But I remember being on drag strip many a time with the open headers and the loud noise. That's what I grew up with, more or less. So it doesn't actually bother me. I just can't hear myself think. Of course, well, my lady says it doesn't matter if I think. She's going to think for me. I'm sorry, dear. Anyway, I had two partners with the racing company. We were in Detroit. We raced at Milan Dragway, which is just about in the center of the lower peninsula of Michigan. And we raced for about 3 years, and then the bottom fell out of the economy, and we had to close our doors. And pretty soon here, we're going to have tractors coming. Here, I see the first one coming now. So I'm going to step off the side again. We know none of these are going to be pulling wheel stands, or we'll pretty much assume it. The front wheel drive and the rear wheel drive, two different tractors. And the rear wheel drive is doing circles around the law enforcement. You know who this one is in the front? That's our retired sheriff. You all know his face. Hey, I think she started something. The next one's doing circles too. And she waved at Channel 3. Here comes the Alice Chambers, two Alice Chambers, and they've all decided to do circles. High turning radius on these things. 1942 Alice Chambers. This one coming up next is, I don't know what year it is. It's an Alice Chambers also. And this one has been in the fields a lot. It's a working machine. It's also an Alice Chambers, followed by an International Harvester, which they call a Farmo. No, it's a McCormick Farmo, which I think is part of the International Harvester. There's a Massey Harris. That's an old one. And a John Deere. A green and yellow John Deere. A lot of these are show tractors, but a few of them mixed in are working tractors that come in right out of the fields for this parade. There's a John Deere 420. There's a little one, I'm not sure what it is. Oh, it's a John Deere. Okay, that's an old one too. And it looks like it just came in from the fields. You got to give them credit for bringing their their farm machinery in. Here's a Ford tractor. The gray hood is the Ford tractor. Again, followed by a Farmall. This one bringing up the flag is a I know what it is when I get closer. I raced hot rods, not tractors. Oh, that's a Farmall. Okay, now I can read it. That's how I know what these things are. I read the sign on them. I cheat. Here's one with the front wheels are cocked at angles to get between the rows of crop. That's a McCormick Farmall. And I think this is the last one. It's a Farmall, bringing it with the American flag on it. I don't see any more. I want to thank our sponsors for bringing you this parade and for supporting the Strawberry Festival. And on behalf of everybody here at Channel 3, I'm going to say goodbye and we'll see you later. This green one, it's a John Deere, and it's got a trailer behind it, and on that trailer is a smaller John Deere. Again, they brought them in from the fields, and they got to give them credit. You know, they keep these things well maintained enough to put in parades for us to enjoy watching and looking at. And this time I think it is the end of the parade. I don't see any more coming down by the alley. So we're going to sign. We will sign off for real this time, folks. Good night and God bless.
She said no, just go to Walmart and look there.
We're inside Don Paco's right here on Florida Street in downtown Buchanan. I have with me Francesca, and she's going to explain a little bit about what you can get if you come to Don Paco's.
When you come to Don Paco's, our food is very flavorful. Lots of taste. Our cooks take lots of pride in their cooking and make sure we provide a great service to you. We have kids menus, we have lots of desserts, we have, for those in need such as yourself, if you have dairy issues, we can...
If you're too spicy, you can do things here that are not real spicy, and fried ice cream.
Yes,
you've got to try fried ice cream. So we just invite everybody to come to Don Paco's right here in Buchanan for a lovely atmosphere. You're seeing some of this as we're shooting this commercial, and they're very friendly. It's just a warm atmosphere, so we would encourage you for your family to come and enjoy a very reasonably priced meal here at Don Paco's. They're going to be sponsoring the Fireman's Parade and the Antique Car Parade for the West Virginia Strawberry Festival. So we just invite you to tune in and watch it, and also come down to Don Paco's and have a lovely meal.